found out that guy.
What guy?
Guy you work with, the one you were hot for, the one you were going to try and get something going with.
Yeah. Didn't I tell you?
I think I would have remembered.
We were in the break room chit-chatting, making some time. Turns out he's being transferred. He's moving to Toronto in 3 weeks.
That's too bad. So you guys going out?
Going out? Of course we're not going out.
Why not?
He's moving back to Toronto in 3 weeks.
So go out, have a few laughs.
This conversation is over.
Fine.
Fine what?
Fine, so don't go out.
See, this is the thing. You never just say fine and let it go. There's always a follow-up. So let's just spit it out and get it over with.
You said the conversation is over. I agreed. I don't understand the controversy. But you do have to admit that there are a few options you may not have considered.
I'm not going to start something romantic with some guy who's leaving the country in 3 weeks.
Option 1 is don't go out because you may totally go for this guy just in time for him to leave town, so why start anything?
Exactly my point.
Option 2, you acknowledge the inevitable but give it a whirl. Go out with this guy, have a fun time while it lasts, if need be. You both mutually agree not to let it get serious, not to get too attached. When all's said and done, worst case scenario is you guys can email and Facebook each other.
You can't just artificially say it won't get serious. Either it will get serious or it won't. So to avoid the inevitable heartbreak, I can't go with option 1.
Yes, but by acknowledging the potential of something that might be, you'll be leaving a loose end and you'll always be thinking of what might have been, which is why you have to go with option 2.
On the other hand, by going with option number 2 as the lesser of two evils, I'll be getting into something I'll feel guilty about because ultimately I know the relationship will be doomed. And by acknowledging the fact that it might get serious, there will be that added pressure for it to actually get serious instead of actually allowing things to develop normally. So obviously I have to go with option 1.
You're missing the bigger picture.
What bigger picture?
Let's say the two of you go out for a few nights. Get along great, you keep going out. This guy decides not to move back to Toronto. You get married, you have kids. Suppose the kid you guys have does something incredible, like finds a cure to cancer, finds a solution for world peace. Millions of people potentially saved by your kid. But no, not you. You know it's bad enough you have to deny yourself a few lousy weeks of pleasure. You have to drag the rest of humanity down with you, all because you refuse to accept the obvious and go with option number 2.
What are the odds that this guy and I are going to have a kid that finds a cure to cancer?
50-50.
There's a 50-50 chance that this guy and I are going to go out, get married, have a kid, and our kid will find a cure to cancer or find a solution to world peace?
Either it will happen or it won't. Where I come from, that's 50%.
Okay, fine. Let's say we do go out. We get married. We have a kid that finds a cure to cancer and world peace. Now, there are going to be less people dying. The world gets overpopulated from people left over that didn't get killed by cancer or world wars. All natural resources get depleted and the entire human race gets snuffed out, all because I chose your option and go with option number 2.
You're kidding yourself, because from all the people who would be saved from cancer or world peace, which your kid figured out a way to come up with, by the way, odds are that one of them would have figured out a way to colonize the moon or Mars or someplace, thereby reducing the world's population.
Okay, fine. Suppose we do go out and we hate each other. We're like 2 coworkers who casually spend time with each other as friends because there's no pressure. But the second we're in a potentially romantic situation, we realize how much we can't stand each other. So now this great friendship gets destroyed along with any decent memory of any great moment we've had together.
Great memory getting ruined. I'm talking about saving millions.
Suppose we go further. Suppose we hate each other so much we drive each other nuts. We totally hate each other so much that in the restaurant we attack each other.
Oh, come on.
No, Mr. Worst Case Scenario, this gets bad. We get into a physical altercation and we're fighting each other so much that we crash into another table for a couple trying to enjoy their romantic dinner sitting and we ruin their evening. They're so upset that they never speak to each other again. And if it hadn't been for my stupid date, which should have never happened in the first place, these two would have gone on to get married, become president and first lady, and in their time in the Oval Office completely brought an end to global climate change through alternative energy.
How is he going to become president? He's from Toronto.
Not my date, hers. You know, he's American. He was born in Arkansas. You know that. That shouldn't matter. She should become president. How about that? Your assumption is he, when I'm saying she would, and they would have a child in the office.
That would have found a cure to cancer. Too late. Your kids had already done that.
Their kid would have invented cold fusion. How about this? One night, when I'm out with Mr. Canada, our anger at trying to keep together a doomed relationship gets so intense we cross over. One of us lunges for a gun from a security guard and starts firing off shots, killing not only both of us, but some of the shrapnel flies away, hanging an innocent, pregnant woman about to give birth to a world leader who is going to not only solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but also bring peace to the Middle East. None of that happens because your insane idea that this will somehow work out.
Well, now you're just being plain silly, okay? Look, everything about option 1 is based on your own sense of futility. Everything about option 2 is based on an attitude, a positive attitude that something will happen, whether it be good or bad, as opposed to option 2, where nothing will happen. I just want to take a moment right now and consider all the time you're going to waste over the next 40 years wondering what might have been and what if, and then weigh that against one beautiful Saturday night with the potential man of your dreams. Could you really live with that many months, possibly years, all gone down the tubes, all because of your childish refusal to take one insignificant chance? And while you're at it, I want you to consider how you're going to feel 20 years down the road, as just about the time when the kid you two would have invented that cure to cancer, which we both acknowledge there's a 50-50 chance of happening. And think of the guilt you're going to feel every time you see a dying cancer patient. Also, consider the possibility that you'll be seeing this dying cancer patient while the two of you are hiding out in some nuclear bunker. A nuclear bunker made necessary by the fact that your kid wasn't around to come up with a solution for world peace. Holocaust of epic proportions, all brought about because of your narrow-mindedness. But what really disturbs me is not the loss of human life or the fate of the world. It's the constant speculation, the wondering, the guilt over the next 40 years, which will inevitably eat away at your soul little by little, bit by bit, as the disturbing facts start to really sink in and you begin to realize the irreversible consequences you may have put into motion through your own self-righteous, lethargic, bullshit apathy. So ask yourself this question. Was my inaction really worth selling my soul to Satan?
Okay, I will ask the guy out the second I get home!
You will?
Yes! Under the completely ridiculous, no way in a million years chance it would ever happen chance that this guy and I go out, wind up getting married, have kids, and our kid figures out a way to cure cancer and solve world peace and colonize Mars, I will ask him out the second I get home.
So you're gonna ask him out?
Yes!
I don't know what the hell for. He's leaving town in 3 weeks.